This is my first YouTube video. I did not look in the mirror before I started doing this video, so this hairstyle is all natural. Today I want to do a tarot reading video about using tarot for inspiration. I am planning to participate in NaNoWriMo this month, National Novel Writing Month, November 2019. And I am what is known in this group, NaNoWriMo, as a pantser, who are people who fly by the seat of their pants when they write. They start where they start and just see where the story takes them. So we are not planners. We are not plotters. Although I'd like to try that someday just to see what difference it does make for me. But for the time being, I'm doing it the way I'm doing it because I literally just decided like 2 days ago that I want to do NaNoWriMo. So I'm starting a new project and I am looking to the tarot for inspiration. What kind of project I might undertake. So I am also a pantser in my YouTube video because I am sitting here with nothing but my bare hands and my notebooks and ready to take notes on my reading. Fortunately, my tarot decks are all next to me. I have a handful of them. For this project, I think it makes the most sense to use the William Blake Tarot of the Creative Imagination, which is an amazing and inspiring deck. If you have never used it, I highly recommend checking it out if you are a creative soul. So one cool thing about it is it does come with a little white book, but beyond the little white book, the William Blake Tarot also comes with a this amazing full text book that's available for free online on the deck creator's website. So I think that's an amazing resource, and mine is clearly beloved and well thumbed, and I'm going to probably have to print another one at some point in my life. Okay, so this is what the William Blake looks like on the back, and then the art is collage of paintings and poetry from William Blake's works, and then some of the suits are different. You still have earth, air, fire, and water, as you would expect, but they're named things like music and poetry and science and painting. So, okay. So I am going to pause this recording for just a moment and pull up a spread to try. So just a second. Okay. And as I typically do, I looked at a few spreads and decided that my best bet is to make my own. It's usually what I do. I just sort of draw cards in conversation with, myself, my inner wisdom, or my guides, or helpers, or spirit, or psychology, or however you put it. So I have a blank piece of paper, and I'm going to write at the top, NaNoWriMo. (2019), and I'm going to do a spread on this topic. So my first question is, the spiritual one. I really would like to know what message wants to come through me. I do see writing that way. I know not everybody does. But for me, I feel like, although I have the education and gift and practice of working with the English language and writing sentences and paragraphs and descriptions and all of those things, I feel like the ideas themselves are usually some kind of alchemy between what I know and understand about the world, what I think about, and then whatever magical influences are coming from wherever they come from, the mysterious, the numinous place that feeds us. So I think my first question is, what is it that's coming down and wants to pass through me? What idea or message or story would choose me as its expressor, if that makes sense? So, sort of like people who believe that our children, their souls are out there and they choose their parents. So, if this is my creative child, then, and it's choosing me as the parent, the creator, the producer of this story, for whatever reason, because of my unique interests, skills, abilities. What is that message? What is that story? So I'll draw 3 cards about that. So I draw little rectangles to represent cards. And I'm just going to put those 3 messages, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to call that line, I'll just call it the message for now. All right. And then the next line I'm going to do will be how the story is conveyed. So this might be something about genre, something about plot, something about character. I could draw, separately for each of those topics. But for now, since this is just a really general reading, I'm going to just draw 3 cards, asking sort of what's the vehicle for this message. So hopefully I'll get some clues from these cards about that will inspire answers to those questions. So I could see things that suggest fantasy, nonfiction, young adult, whatever, whatever is trying to come through. So I'm going to say vehicle. So this is the how, and we'll call that first line the what. So 4, 5, 6. I hope that you can see that. And then the last line we'll do 7, 8, 9. And I like 9 card spreads, so I'm just assuming we're going to have a 7, 8, 9. I'm just assuming we're going to have other things to ask for this last line. So what else seems like the place to start? The what am I going to write? How am I going to write it? The container. I feel like there's a question about process here as well. So, me as a writer, how do I support myself in this endeavor? How do I commit? Like many writers, I have a lot of self-doubt, so maybe some questions about how do I handle self-doubt? How do I support myself in the process of writing? Maybe what time of day is good for me to write? How do I manage the responsibilities of my life and also commit to this thing that I've decided is important to me? So I'm just going to do a process question. So I've just written process. All right. There are lots of other questions that I could ask and that I want to ask, but I'll start with this 9-card spread and see what comes next. So now, I hope this isn't overly boring to have all of these pauses, thoughtful pauses while I gather my thoughts, but for some people, I think, especially people who are learning tarot, it's really useful to see somebody else's process and not just see a polished, complete thing at the end. So I'm sharing sort of my thought as I go. I won't edit or anything like that, so I hope that it's still worth your time to sit through and experience this in real time. So, all right, so I shuffle my cards usually, not always, you know, the old-fashioned way, or the, it's probably not old-fashioned, like this, you know. Sometimes I swipe them all around, but I don't have a good surface for that right now. When you swipe them all around in a big mess like that, it's called a wash, if you don't know that already. And I like that too. So I will articulate now that I am not going to read reversals. I mean, if I notice something comes up reversed and it seems really relevant, I'll pay attention to that. But my intention right now is to read them all upright. So let's get a pretty scarf. And there we go. Now I'm going to so I, unlike many, I don't cut my cards to lay them out. I spread them out in a line and then draw them. So I know I'm going to draw 9 cards. So I'll tilt this down so you can kind of see this happen. Do one more. Yeah. And then cut. So I don't know if the bottom card is there. And then go out like this. Okay, and we're going to go 11. We're going to go 9 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I just draw whichever one feels, you know, whatever my eyes attracted to, whatever pops up to me for some reason. Okay, I think we have 9, so we'll just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and now by doing that, I reordered them so that the number 1 card is on top. I'll lay them out first so that I can see them, and then make it so that you can see them. So I have the Man of Poetry, Assessment, which is number 8, Major Arcana card, and the Liberty card, which is similar to Judgment, number 20. And I have 7 of Music, Child of Music, and Major Arcana card 21, Union, which is akin to the world. Number 1, Magic, which is the Magician. 6 of Poetry, and the Man of Painting. So let me show you like this what the cards look like. But you're not getting motion sick with this terrible video quality. So in the William Blake Tarot, the poetry cards are the wands. The painting cards are the pentacles or discs. Music is the cups, and science is swords. But you see, we don't have any science cards here, so we don't need to know that right now. So if you're working with a traditional deck, then we would be working with the man of poetry would be akin to the King of Wands. So I'm going to write that up here in my number 1 section, man of poetry. And then assessment, which is akin to justice. And then liberty, which is akin to judgment. So my first line, what is the message that wants to come through? So it seems that my possibly something about this King of Wands energy. So this might be the energy of my main character. Doesn't necessarily have to be a man, but someone who is something very charismatic and possibly spiritual. Something about bringing, balance and fairness into the world, some kind of message of that. And then like an awakening kind of an energy. So I'll look more deeply into all of those, but I'm just going to go quickly over the whole spread. So then the middle is sort of this vehicle question, whether it be plot, character, genre. So this does seem like it might be some kind of a fantasy story. We have the 7 of music, akin to the 7 of cups, that fancies card. To me, this world is all one continued vision of fancy or imagination. That's what that little clip says from a William Blake poem. So that indicates that we might be working in some kind of fabulous, surreal, fantasy kind of realm, which works for me. Child of music. So this would be akin to the Page of Cups. So there might be some youthful element to it. And then this is a card of completion, union, the world, the integration card. Everything coming together in some way. So I feel like I'm getting some information about genre. That world card, I'm going to contemplate a little bit more about how that affects what kind of story. It suggests to me that it probably isn't the beginning of a series or anything. It's probably a self-contained, one-shot kind of a story. All right, and then in our last, and so I'll write those down here. I'm not going to take the time to do that right now. And then our last line is about my process. My phone is going off. Okay, last line is about process. I love the Magician card for a writer. So this suggests that hopefully when I make the time to write, the inspiration will come through for me. So definitely write when inspired. Also write when not inspired, and inspiration will come. But that's that magic card that's really powerful and meaningful to me, and I hope that I see that happen. This cooperation card, so this is 6 of poetry, 6 of wands, just suggests something about working together. So the people in my life with whom I share responsibilities and obligations, working with them to make sure that I have the time and space that I need, and that I'm supported in this project. So I think something about that will be important. Man of painting. So this would be akin to a King of Pentacles card. He's there are a few different ways to interpret that one, but for right now, and I'll be journaling about this and probably doing a much deeper interpretation, but for right now I see him as, he's a hard worker. The King of Pentacles is generally a very sort of deliberate and committed and reliable and straightforward type of character. So I see this as, that I need to internally make this commitment, and externally with the people in my life make this commitment. And if I follow through with my end of the bargain, the magic will meet me. So I'm going to write all of this down, and now I'll journal longer about it, and then hopefully I will be well prepared on November 1st. Even though I'm flying by the seat of my pants, at least I will know where I'm going to start. So thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of this that's useful to you. And I hope I make some more of these videos because this was fun. Okay,